Every child looks at adulthood as a glorified destination. Independence, freedom, a lack of restrictions, it's all very tempting. My 7-year-old sister likes to play high school with her friend. They strut around with handbags, pretending they're at the mall or the park or any other place she's heard me speak of. I myself very much looked forward to teenhood for a very long time. But I will say that the transition between being a child and being an adult has not been what I imagined it to be at all. From the ages of 12 to 16, I felt as if the entire world was designed against me. I hated everything. I didn't understand why I had exams every month. I didn't understand why some of my friends wouldn't speak to me anymore. I didn't understand why I was so unbelievably sad every single day. I didn't understand much. All I knew was that I wanted to lay in bed, and I wanted the world to pass me by, and I wanted absolutely nothing to do with it. It's not easy. No one wants to wake up one day and realize that they feel like they don't belong, that they have no sense of purpose or direction, that they don't feel good or even remotely comfortable about who they are. These aren't isolated problems, and these aren't individual struggles. We all are either going through this right now or have already been through this. That feeling of suspension between who we were as children and who we want to be as adults. I know, this sounds like another teenage girl whining about problems that aren't seen as real or important, but trust me when I say this. A teenage girl's life is so difficult. The changes in our minds and our bodies, understanding society and trying to find our place in it, it's incredibly overwhelming. And if these internal struggles aren't enough, everyone has an opinion on everything we do. This, I later came to realize, is not something that's going to change as we grow older. This wasn't a teenage struggle, this was a lifelong battle. And with social media growing, it seems to grow even more so. Our lives have become so fixated on people's opinions of us. As much as I want to say that I was able to rise above it all, I wasn't. I too stared at my phone and went through my likes and comments and views. I too tied my worth to little figures on social media. And even though I was fully aware that it was hurting and breaking my self-esteem, and even though I knew that it was bringing me so much harm, I kept doing it. I was caught in a vicious cycle of trying to find myself in other people's views of me. Why does this happen? Why do we place so much importance on what people think of us? Why do we care so much how people perceive us? Research says that it's our way to feel like we control the environment. As social beings, we have an inherent need to be liked, to be treasured, and to be valued. It doesn't matter if they're our closest friend. It doesn't matter if they're a stranger on the internet. We all just want to be liked. We all want people to have good opinions of us. But obviously, that cannot always be the case, which is why even one unhappy comment towards us can break us down so easily. Self-worth is defined as the internal sense and feeling of being good enough, of feeling that we are worthy of good things. And self-worth, as internal as it may be in the dictionary definition, is not as internal in real life. Self-worth, I've come to find, has a very complex relationship with how people perceive us. But it doesn't have to. In fact, I say that it shouldn't. When everyone has an opinion on everything, and when everyone feels entitled to voice and project these opinions on others, it can be so difficult to keep your self-worth up. I want you to think of one thing in life that you wholeheartedly wanted to do, but you couldn't because you were scared, nervous, pressured by people's opinions of us. Just one thing. Could be as simple as posting a selfie on Instagram, or as complex as pursuing a career that you didn't want to do. Just one thing in life that you gave up on because you were scared of what people would say. At the age of 16, I started a business. It has been almost a year of owning and running it all by myself. And I think that this would have been the project that I would have left behind had I not discovered how easy it actually is to escape the influence people's opinions have on you. Had I not discovered how easy it really was to live a life based solely on my decisions, my thoughts, and my opinions. During the planning phases, as well as the low seasons of my business, actually, I had a lot of self-doubt growing in me. I wondered if my products were good enough. I wondered if I was good enough. And it did not help that business often makes your failures not only unpredictable, but also very public. There were products that did not sell at all. There were days and even weeks of no sales. And all of these failures were out for the world to see and to comment on. You should shut it down. You should give it up. This is going absolutely nowhere. These are all things I started hearing on a regular basis, and over time, I started believing them too. Amidst this chaos, a friend of mine told me that he was proud of me for having a business. He said that it was incredible how I was juggling so much at once, and how he was happy that I had something to keep me grounded and happy. And I couldn't stop thinking about it. That one tiny little comment that I'm sure he's forgotten he ever made was stuck in my head for the longest time possible. Even though people still doubted me, even though people were still telling me to give up, the only one comment that really stuck with me throughout was the "I'm proud of you." I was scared, I was doubtful, and I was absolutely overwhelmed. Investing all of my time and savings and effort into something so unpredictable, while also having to juggle multiple other things in my life, sometimes made me question the sense of it all. There were so many nagging thoughts in my mind, and I would so often just get carried away with them. But I have found that it is just as easy to get carried away with positive thoughts. It is just as easy to produce one positive, powerful thought and get carried away with that, and let that change your life. That is the power of affirmative thoughts. I have found that our mind is like a child. You know children, they will believe anything you tell them. They believe in Santa, they believe in the Tooth Fairy, they believe in the Easter Bunny. How we have kept these stories going for centuries, I have no idea. But every generation of children that comes along seems to believe them. It is the same way with our minds. They will believe absolutely anything and everything if they see it and hear it long enough. Whatever I tell my mind every day, whatever I let myself think on a regular basis, my mind will start believing it. So in the middle of all the doubt and insecurities that welled up inside me on an almost daily basis, I forced myself to turn my thinking around. It seemed impossible in the start, and I know what you're thinking. Just thinking things will get better will not make them get better. That's what I believed in the start too. But then I realized that there's so much more to affirmative thinking than just believing things will get better. Affirmative thoughts are also realistic. Affirmative thoughts are about being patient with yourself. Affirmative thoughts are about being proud of yourself. Affirmative thoughts are not the solution, but I promise you, they are the vessel that will get you there. So even though I was unsure of my products, even though I wanted to give up every single day, I pushed myself through it. I sat down in front of the mirror every morning, without fail, and told myself some nice things that we all want and deserve to hear. I am proud of you. I believe in you, I support you, and I know that you can do anything you set your mind to. I started slower than that, actually. I just sort of started by thinking about things that I liked about myself. The first 2 days, I could come up with absolutely nothing because I wasn't used to it. Day 3, I came up with 3 things. Day 4, I came up with 5 things, and today, I can list 100. I love my hair, I love my work ethic, my glasses that are too big for my face, how I haven't gone a single day without reading a book, how I have a million incomplete journals. I could keep going and going. I have all these nice things to say about myself because I treat myself with kindness. I have learned to practice affirmative thinking on a daily basis, and you have to start doing the same. You have to start being nicer to yourself. Compliment yourself. Tell yourself you're proud of how far you've come, and I promise you that the confidence, the capability, and the absolute magic you withhold will unravel with astonishing speed. This is not a story of fiction. This is not something I made up for the sake of a speech. This is real. Self-doubt is real, and it's something every single one of us in this room have faced at one point or another. But I am here to tell you that self-acceptance and self-love are just as real. I'm here to tell you that self-doubt is not as impossible to overcome as you might believe. Practice affirmative thinking. Start showing up for yourself and start today. It's not easy, it's not quick. I myself spent months shaping my mind the right way, and in many ways, I think that I'm still learning, but it is worth it. Because now I know that no matter where my life goes, what I end up dreaming of, or who I end up becoming, I will be there for myself. I am my biggest supporter. I think many people today are so caught up with the struggles of life that they don't have enough time for themselves. And I get it, I really do. My friends are always stressed about their exams. My parents are stressed about their jobs. I even see strangers running around, panicking, trying to get things done, trying to get their life together. And I get how busy it is. But please find some time for yourself. I urge you to be a little more patient with yourself. I urge you to sit down in front of the mirror every once in a while, like my 16-year-old self did, and tell yourself some nice things. Start showing up for yourself, because it will change your life. Because at the age of 16, when life was chaos, when self-doubt threatened to eat me alive every single day, when I wanted to give up on absolutely anything and everything, I still found a way to believe in myself. Because at the age of 16, which is only a year ago, by the way, I shifted my focus from people's opinions of me, things that I cannot control, to my thoughts, my goals, and my actions, the things that I can control. And if a 16-year-old can do that, then I promise you that you can too. No matter where your life goes, what you end up dreaming of, or who you end up becoming, you have to be your biggest supporter. You have to make sure that you are showing up for yourself. Make sure you're telling your mind the right things. Thank you.